Ho, 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 good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Story Time by Santa. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these wonderful stories that Santa is going to read to you, your family members, and your children. I hope you have a wonderful time, and if you like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Santa loves you. Ho, ho, ho. Enjoy.
Ho, 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 ho! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. I hope you got your hot cocoa ready, because Santa's got some stories for you. The Jolly Snowman's Christmas Song. On the edge of a snow-covered village, where the trees sparkled with frost and the chimneys popped out clouds of smoke, there stood a very special snowman. He wasn't like other snowmen who simply stood silent and still, waiting for winter to pass. No, this snowman was jolly, always smiling, always humming, and most importantly, always singing. His name was Frosty Joe, and he had a gift that made everybody who passed by stop and listen. You see, Frosty Joe loved to sing Christmas songs, but not just any Christmas songs, but songs that came straight from the heart, filled with joy and kindness. His favorite thing to do was to stand in the village square right underneath the twinkling lights and sing to the children as they played. But one Christmas season, something strange began to happen. As Frosty Joe sang his songs, fewer and fewer stopped to listen. At first, only a few hurried by, but soon the square became almost empty. The once lively village was now quiet, with children staying indoors, their faces glued to shiny new gadgets, their laughter replaced by silent buzz of screens. Frosty Joe tried singing louder, even happier, but no one seemed to notice. He felt a bit sad, but his jolly nature wouldn't let him give up. One evening, just as snow began to fall gently from the sky, Frosty Joe noticed a small boy sitting alone on a bench nearby. His name was Tommy, and he was holding a brand new tablet, staring at the glowing screen, but his face didn't look happy at all. Frosty Joe waddled over with a soft smile and began to hum his favorite Christmas tune. At first, Tommy didn't notice, but slowly he looked up. There was something in the melody that felt warm, like a cozy blanket on a cold night. "Hi there," said Frosty Joe in his jolly voice. "Why so sad, Tommy? Christmas is nearly here." Tommy sighed. "I don't know. Christmas just doesn't feel the same this year. I got all these cool presents, but it's not as fun as it used to be." Frosty Joe nodded his snowy head. "You know, Tommy, Christmas isn't about the things we have. It's about the love we share, the joy we give, and the songs we sing together. Want to hear a special Christmas song I've been working on?" Tommy shrugged. "I guess." Frosty Joe cleared his snowy throat and began to sing a new tune. It was soft and sweet and filled the words about giving, sharing, and finding joy in the simple things, like the twinkling stars, a warm hug, and laughter of friends. As he sang, the snowflakes danced in the air, swirling around them like magic, and then something wonderful happened. One by one, children started peeking out of their homes. Drawn by the music, they gathered around the square, their faces lighting up. They remembered how much fun they used to have playing in the snow, building snowmen, and singing Christmas carols together. Soon the square was filled with children again, laughing and singing along with Frosty Joe. Even the adults who had been busy with holiday preparations paused to listen. They realized that they had been so focused on the hustle and bustle that they had forgotten what Christmas was truly about. When Frosty Joe finished his song, the whole village clapped and cheered. Tommy looked up at the snowman, his eyes shining. "That was amazing," Tommy said with a big smile. "I feel different now." "Happier." Frosty Joe chuckled. "That's the magic of Christmas, my boy. It's not found in presents or shiny new things, but in the joy we share with others. And you can always spread that joy, just like a song that never ends." From that day on, the village changed. Instead of staying indoors with their gadgets, the children played outside, laughing and building snowmen just like they used to. They sang Christmas songs in the square with Frosty Joe, and the air was filled with the sound of joy and laughter. And every year Tommy remembered the lesson Frosty Joe had taught him, that true happiness comes from giving, sharing, and spreading joy to those around you. He even started a new tradition, gathering his friends and family to sing Christmas carols together in the square, just like Frosty Joe had done. As for Frosty Joe, he stood tall and proud in the middle of the village, his heart full of joy, knowing that his song had brought the true spirit of Christmas back to the village. The end. Wow. Here's your life lesson. Christmas is about more than just gifts and gadgets. It's about the joy we share, the kindness we spread, and the time we spend with the people we love. Happiness comes from giving, sharing, and being together, not from the things we own. Wow. Isn't that amazing? And yes, being around your friends really does make a difference. The reindeer who couldn't stop laughing. Are you ready for number 2? This one's even better than the first. Once upon a time at the North Pole, where snowflakes glittered like diamonds and the air was filled with the sweet smell of candy canes, there lived a very special reindeer named Rascal. Now, Rascal wasn't just any reindeer. He had a special trait that made him stand out from all the others. Rascal couldn't stop laughing. No matter where he was or what he was doing, Rascal was always giggling, chuckling, or bursting into laughter, whether it was during breakfast, while flying practice, or even when the elves were doing their serious toy making. Rascal would laugh. It didn't matter if something was funny or not, he just loved to laugh. Most of the time, everyone loved having Rascal around. His laughter was infectious, and it made the long, chilly days at the North Pole feel warmer. The other reindeer found his giggles amusing, and even Santa would crack a smile when Rascal's laugh echoed through the reindeer stables. But as Christmas Eve grew closer, the time for laughter became a little bit more serious. You see, flying Santa's sleigh was no small task. It required focus, teamwork, and perfect coordination. Rascal was a strong flyer, but his uncontrollable laughter was becoming a bit of a problem. Whenever Santa gathered the reindeer for flight practice, Rascal's laughter would cause chaos. "Rascal, steady now," Santa would call out as the reindeer lined up for takeoff. But as soon as they started flying, Rascal would burst into giggles, and suddenly his antlers would wobble, his hooves would wobble, and soon the whole team was thrown off course. One time Rascal's laughter caused the sleigh to veer into a snowbank, sending snow flying everywhere, much to the elves' dismay. "Rascal, you must control your laughter," said Dasher, the eldest and wisest of the reindeer. "We need to focus on flying Santa's sleigh. Christmas Eve is just days away, and the whole world is counting on us." Rascal's ears dropped, and he nodded. He loved making others laugh, but he didn't want to ruin Christmas. Still, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't help it. The smallest things, a snowflake landing on his nose, or the sound of jingling bells, would send him into fits of laughter. One evening, just before the big Christmas Eve flight, Rascal sat alone outside the reindeer barn, staring up at the twinkling stars. He wanted so badly to be part of the team and help deliver presents, but what if his laughter ruined everything? He was so deep in thought that he didn't notice Santa coming over and sitting beside him. "What's troubling you, Rascal?" Santa asked kindly, his eyes twinkling. "I'm worried, Santa," Rascal admitted. "I love to laugh, but it's causing problems with the sleigh team. What if I mess up the big flight on Christmas Eve?" Santa smiled warmly and placed a hand on Rascal's shoulder. "You know, Rascal, laughter is a wonderful gift. It brings joys to others, and that's one of the most important things about Christmas. Spreading happiness. But like all gifts, it must be used at the right time." Rascal looked up at Santa. "But how do I know when it's the right time?" Santa chuckled. "Ho, ho, 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 ho. That's something we all have to learn. And sometimes it's good to be serious and focus. But other times laughter is exactly what's needed. You have to find the balance, just like we balance the sleigh on our flight." Rascal thought about Santa's words and felt a little better. Maybe he didn't have to stop laughing altogether. Maybe he just needed to learn when to laugh and when to concentrate. Christmas Eve arrived, and when it was time for the big flight, the reindeer lined up, their harnesses jingling, and Santa climbed into the sleigh with his big sack of toys. Rascal took a deep breath. He knew this was his chance to prove himself. As they soared through the sky, Rascal focused harder than he ever had before. He kept his mind on the flight, staying in sync with the other reindeer. The night was magical. Stars sparkled above, and the world below was silent and peaceful. Everything was going perfectly until they reached the first rooftop. As Santa climbed out of the sleigh and began to make his way down the chimney, Rascal felt a tickle in his nose. It was one of those tiny snowflakes again, softly landing on the tip of his nose. Rascal tried to ignore it, but the tickle grew stronger. His antlers wobbled a little. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, determined to stay calm. But just as Santa returned to the sleigh, Rascal couldn't hold it any longer. He let out a big, hearty laugh, a loud, joyous laugh that echoed across the snowy rooftops. The other reindeer tensed, waiting for the sleigh to wobble or something to go wrong. But this time, nothing bad happened. In fact, Santa started laughing too. "Oh, rascal," Santa said, wiping away a happy tear. "That laugh of yours is just what we needed. It's the sound of joy, and the joy is exactly what Christmas is all about." The other reindeer smiled and relaxed. Rascal's laughter wasn't a distraction. It was a reminder of the joy and fun of Christmas. And so they continued their flight, with Rascal laughing happily on the way, spreading cheer wherever they went. From that night on, Rascal became an important part of Santa's sleigh team. Not just for his flying, but for his laughter. He learned how to focus when needed, but also how to bring joy to those around him at the perfect moments. The children who saw Santa's sleigh that Christmas swore they could hear the sound of laughter ringing through the night sky, and it made them smile in their sleep. Here's your life lesson. We all have special gifts that make us unique, and sometimes it's about finding the right balance. There are times to focus and times to laugh, and both are equally important. True joy comes from knowing when to use your gifts to help others and bring happiness to the world. Wow! Wasn't that awesome, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls? I hope you enjoyed that, because Santa will be back next time with some more stories. Good night.